very much. And our final witness is Mr. Ben Scott. He is the Policy Director for Free Press. He testifies today on behalf of Free Press, Consumers Union, Public Knowledge, and the Consumer Federation of America. We welcome you back, Mr. Scott.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, I much appreciate the opportunity to testify today. Does that work a little better? All right. As many of you know, for years, the preservation of network neutrality has been a priority issue for consumer groups like mine. That is because the consumer experience with the future of the Internet rides on this policy decision. As you've heard today, two competing visions for that future stand before you. Will we embrace the openness that has shaped the Internet to the present day, or should we permit network owners to move to a closed system of content control, which we've had in cable television? It's a virtual clash of civilizations. For consumers, this clash is about the rights of Internet users to seek and share the content of their choice online. Of course, net neutrality has been hotly debated by legions of lobbyists and millions of Americans. But in the last 3 years, Republicans and Democrats here in the Congress and at the FCC have actually come together on a few basic points. I've analyzed this history in my written testimony. First, almost everyone agrees that consumers are entitled to access the lawful content, applications, and devices of their choice. And second, that it is reasonable to establish these as principles in the law. FCC put this in a policy statement, and Congress has tried to codify it in numerous ways over the years. This leads me to conclude that it is no longer a question of whether consumers will have laws guarding an open Internet, but how those laws will be crafted. We strongly support this bill for rising to the occasion. This bill simply places these agreed-upon consumer rights at the base of the Communications Act. It clarifies the authority of the FCC to protect Internet users from discrimination, and it tells the agency what rights Congress wants consumers to expect in an open Internet marketplace. It is a modernization of the principles that have long been in the Act. There are no regulations in this bill, simple and clear. However, as we've heard today, this debate is often muddied by issues that are legitimate but not germane to the bill. I've got a few fish for your aquarium, Mr. Chairman. First, as you've mentioned, the copyright issue. Net neutrality does not protect online piracy on peer-to-peer networks or anywhere else on the Internet. Neither this bill nor any bill in the history of this debate would have protected illegal activity. Not piracy, not child pornography, not spam, not viruses, none of it. Second fish, misconceptions about peer-to-peer users. A small percentage of peer-to-peer users have been vilified as bandwidth hogs that force network owners to block consumer choice. Frankly, I've never heard of an industry complaining so loudly about people so eager to use their products. And sure, of course, networks should be able to manage traffic by heavy users, but that doesn't provide an excuse for blocking every user from running a particular program. It's important to point out that P2P services do not use more bandwidth than consumers have already paid for, and they've paid hefty monthly bills. The Wall Street Journal reports that Comcast earned an 80% profit on its cable modem service. I'd like a business like that myself. Actually, lots of P2P programs are totally legitimate. They're used by ABC.com, PBS, and NASA, to name a few. But probably the best example is Skype, a P2P program that allows Internet users to have voice conversations online with so little bandwidth that it works on a dial-up connection. Today it has over 300 million users in 28 different languages. This is the kind of popular innovation that this bill is designed to promote. Now, the consequences of ignoring this bill are sharpening in clarity. There is an urgency here. Network neutrality was supposedly a solution in search of a problem, and yet over the last 2 years, the problems keep bubbling up. Right now, Comcast is under investigation at the FCC for blocking Internet applications. This, I suggest to you, is a bellwether case. FCC Chairman Kevin Martin has said he will enforce his network neutrality principles. The cable industry says that although they have always supported the FCC's principles, they reject the FCC's authority to enforce them. In other words, they were for net neutrality before they were against it. The Comcast case may well end up in court, where the market will endure more years of uncertainty. It would be far better if Congress passed this bill and settled the question. But make no mistake, this is a compromise bill. It is reasonable by almost any standard. I would prefer something stronger. but I think this bill represents a significant step in the right direction. What amazes me is that it has not attracted broader support. The middle ground that opponents of net neutrality have called for is right here in this bill, and now they appear unwilling to stand on it. Internet policymaking is premised on a simple idea. We will remove regulations from network operators, but we'll draw a line to protect consumers in their access to an open internet. Today we test this theory. A duopoly market of phone and cable companies will not discipline itself. This is a clear moment for Congress to act and pass the Internet Freedom and Preservation Act. The future of the Internet for everyone depends upon it. I thank you for your time, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Scott, very much. And now